I didn't scream when I came home to bulldozers grinding through my wheat fields. I didn't fight when they paved over my grandfather's soil with hot asphalt. Instead, I unfolded the 1931 Water Rights Survey across the hood of their truck and watched their grins shrivel like frostbitten cornstalks. The Cedar Ridge HOA thought they could turn my farmland into cold dice axe and tennis courts. Thought 5 decades of crops and sweat could vanish under a single zoning permit. What they never understood was that I'm a retired Army Corps hydrologist. And those silent floodgates at the edge of my property weren't ornamental. They were federal infrastructure, they were history, and they'd been waiting for someone foolish enough to build beneath them. My name is William Bill Carter, 64, third-generation farmer in central Kansas. Son of the man who first carved these acres out of wild prairie. My father bought this land in 1952 after Korea. He raised wheat and cattle, taught me to read clouds better than books, and left me with one truth I've never forgotten. Water always wins. That's why in 1974, when a record flood tore through our valley, the Corps of Engineers worked with my dad to install a spillway system across North Ridge. Not to destroy, but to protect families downstream. Each spring storm it held back became a shield. It wasn't just concrete. It was a promise. Jump ahead to 2025. I had just retired. Finally ready to farm full-time when I noticed bright orange stakes slicing across my south field. Weeks later came graders, cement mixers, hay, and cheap signs screaming, Cedar Ridge Estates. Luxury homes from the $400s. I walked up to the foreman. "This is Carter Farmland," I told him. He didn't even glance up. "Not anymore, sir. HOA owns this tract now. We've got the papers." Then she appeared. Karen Whitmore, 51, president of Cedar Ridge, HOA. The kind of woman who treats a designer clipboard like a crown. All smiles as she explained they defiled adverse possession while my back surgery left the land idle. "Unused property hurts the community. Honey," she cooed. "We're helping it thrive." Helping? They had poured cement into irrigation ditches my father dug by hand. They bulldozed the hedgerow where my kids carved their names. They were killing a century of labor for bylaws and cul-de-sacs. I called the county office. They shrugged. Zoning had already been shifted 6 months back, pushed through by Karen's golfing buddy on the council. I hired a lawyer. He wanted 80 grand just to file injunctions. I couldn't outspend them, but I could outthink them. So I went to the courthouse archives, dust thick as grain chaff. And there I found it. The original 1931 water rights deed, signed long before Cedar Ridge existed. It gave my family senior control of diversion channels that fed straight into the spillway. Under federal law, no HOA, no city, no developer could strip that away. My pulse thudded with adrenaline when I realized what I held. This wasn't just land anymore. This was jurisdiction. This was leverage. Meanwhile, Karen spun her story to the papers. "We're creating community," she smiled. "Protecting families from dangerous old farm structures." She called my floodgates a hazard. She even went on TV, crocodile tears glistening as she warned about children's safety. But every evening, I stood at those gates, watching storm clouds stack black on the horizon, hearing the dry rattle of my corn without water, and I knew what I must do. I called my old friend, Frank Ramirez, retired EPA inspector. He laughed when he saw the HOA's lagoon set up. "They diverted half your irrigation into backyard ponds without a single federal permit. That's a Clean Water Act violation, Bill. They're burying themselves." So I documented everything. Trail cams, measuring sticks, photo logs showing daily water loss. I built a binder heavy as a hay bale. Then I waited. September rains came. The reservoir filled within 48 hours, the ground trembling with thunder. Karen's glossy new homes sat square in the floodplain my father warned about half a century ago. Standing at those gates, I remembered his words. Water always wins. My hands didn't shake as I turned the wheel. Steel screamed, earth vibrated, and then came the sound of freight train tearing through the valley. Water blasted down the old creek bed, ripping through Cedar Ridge's manicured lawns, shredding their stone bridges, drowning basements that never should have been built. Neighbors gathered on the ridge, some cheering, some weeping. One old farmer muttered, "About damn time." Karen arrived in her golf cart, screeching at deputies to arrest me. But the federal agents Frank had called were already there, clipboard steady, watching nature reclaim what was hers. "Ma'am," one said flatly, "this is a federally authorized flood control system functioning within jurisdiction." Within hours, reporters swarmed, filming Cedar Ridge's dream neighborhood turned into a water park. Insurance adjusters followed, realizing the HOA had lied on every form. City councils scrambled, but the evidence was already rushing downstream with the mud. As sunlight cut through the clouds, I stood drenched, watching my father's fields drink deep for the first time in years. The HOA thought they could bury my family's legacy under asphalt and debt. But they forgot the oldest truth carved into this land. Water always wins. Sometimes it just waits for someone like me to open the gates. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.